Well, it's officially the start of a new week and the end of a month where the markets go a little bit boing boing as portfolio managers do their monthly window dressing. But let's not get distracted by the glitter. Friday's price action just literally ripped the rug from out under the bull's feet. My SPX slippers have barely had time to get comfy before I was forced to swap them for those bear spiked runners again. With Friday breaking through my bear hedge trigger, it flipped script from bullish back to bearish, and let's look at the charts. So most of last week, I was waiting for a buying opportunity again. We came down to prior resistance acting as support. Again, there was no bearish pulse bars right up until Thursday. So as we come into Thursday, there was an almost immediate bullish setup, as we can see there, excuse my drawing, and then the rest of the day was pretty much a wash. So I was looking to be bullish as we go, into the end of the week, but I'm always prepared to basically be wrong with new information, so I always let you know where my bear trigger is. In this case, it's just below the low of Thursday, and as we come into Friday, that is almost immediately flipped as we hit bearish pulse bars, we get the Bollinger Band breakouts. We're now back inside that prior range, which is one of our 6 money making patterns, and we're pretty much popping and dropping. So we go from bullish very briefly to bearish almost as quick. Now, interestingly, what we have here is, again, with the benefit of an extra day's worth of information, we can see now that as price unfolds, it does create different patterns. What we have is this lovely bear flag, which a lot of traders will be looking at now. So Friday's move takes us firmly out of that grinding sideways, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit zone. And, we pop through that 5,500, then we could easily be seeing the bear flag target down at 5,140. So for the moment, I'm remaining bearish through, 5,500. And as we go through 55, we do have this gamma exposure level here just marked off on the charts, 55. That's the biggest gamma exposure level for the week. So if we go through that level, what we could see is the market makers de-risking their gamma exposure, which would accelerate the bearish movement to the downside. So this should be a good week for the bears. The overnight futures are already popping lower, around about 1%. So we should be, again, gapping down and hopefully running lower into what could be another bearish move, and hopefully a very large, this time, bearish swing, very reminiscent of 2022 if you want to go back and have a look at the historical charts. So here's a quick insight to avoid in this bearish movements. The first mistake is trading what you think will happen. I was going bullish until I was bearish. I'm not afraid to say, hey, you know what, I got it wrong. I don't know that it's wrong until afterwards. So we need clear, defined bull and bear triggers. And the second mistake that a lot of people have is having a trading system that doesn't cater for bullish moves, bearish moves, sideways movements. It doesn't cater for the different type of environment that we're in. And that's where my 6 money making patterns come into play. Firstly, recognize what environment we're in, and then that then tells us how I'm going to place the next trade. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that in 2018, the S&P 500 plunged nearly 20% in December alone, marking it as one of the worst year-end sell-offs in history? And the culprit was a mix of Fed tightening and market-wide panic. And we fast forward to today, and while the catalyst may differ, the market structure of the patterns that we're looking at right now, they're very similar to back then and in 2022. And it's always funny the way that the markets have a way of rhyming with each other. So if you're tired of watching the charts all day and want to know a proven process for pulling out profits from the markets, then click the link next to this video. You'll be taken to a free training that outlines one of my favorite money making patterns. So click the link and I will see you over there.